Well, hello there and welcome to my channel. So glad that you could join me today. My little dog Baxter decided to let him join me today. So you say hi to everybody. This little puppy, he's brought me so much joy. Oh, and here's Bailey. She's our little rescue dog that we got before Christmas. And oh my goodness, these two, they get along so well together. They are such good friends. I was very reluctant to get a second dog, didn't need a second dog. But you know what this has done for our little Baxter, to have a friend to play with, to have a friend. And he used to be really anxious, and he's really changed a lot since we got Bailey. And Bailey, it just feels like, say hi Bailey, she's so adorable. It's like we've had her forever, and we've only had her for a few months. But these two just really hit it off well, and now Baxter's a completely different dog because he has a friend. And you know what? I hadn't even planned on saying that. But that is what today's topic. I wanted to talk about friendship. I think friendships are so important. I was thinking, have you ever been in a room filled with people and just felt so very lonely? Like, it's like you're not even there. In fact, a sociologist by the name of George Schimmel said, there's nowhere more lonely than a metropolitan city. And I think that's absolutely true, that you can be in the hub where everybody lives and just be so lonely. I think some things that contribute to this is that we do live in a very transient world. People tend to move around a lot more than I believe that previous generations did. I think people used to stay put, and maybe the house you grew up in was the house that you lived in when you got older. People tend to, like us for instance, we relocated across the world from Canada to Gibraltar. I think that the digital age that we live in has changed the way we do life. We tend to spend more time alone than we do interacting with people, or we interact with people online more than we do in person. And I think that that really does contribute to loneliness. I also think that we can get so busy trying to attain our goals, say with work and stuff, that we neglect our friendships, or we don't make them a priority. And at the end of the day, I think that that can also lead to us feeling very lonely. The truth is that we're social creatures, and we're designed to be in friendships, and we're designed for community and to be together. I actually don't think that we need a lot of friends. I think it's the quality of friendship. I don't think you don't even need to be popular to have good friends. I look at people who are famous, who are sports stars, or who have lots of money, and I sometimes wonder if they think that people are in their life because of who they are, and they question whether these people's friendships are real, or if they were to lose everything overnight, would these people still be in their lives? And I do wonder if they actually are very lonely. So it isn't what you have that makes you a good friend. It goes so much deeper than that. An interesting statistic that I found was in the UK, 1 out of 12 people felt severe loneliness. And in fact, in the UK, this loneliness is actually considered endemic. In the US, they found 3 out of 5 people suffer from experience loneliness. And from those, 36% of Americans report having severe issues of loneliness, which is incredible. Loneliness also leads to increased anxiety, depression. People who are lonely are more likely to engage in destructive behaviors. Loneliness is was a greater predictor rather of mortality than obesity. Now I was thinking, well, what would you say to someone who's lonely? I suppose you could tell them to go and get a hobby. You could tell them to get busy doing something. But would that really fill that void that's inside them? Well, it would keep them busy, and it might excite their interest in something. I know for myself, I'm a real advocate of doing things you love and being inquisitive and being curious about things, but I'm not sure that it would fill this particular void. At the heart of loneliness is isolation, and is feeling unseen, and that there's no one to listen to you or to hear you. I think the solution for this is friendship. Now, a person can have many different kinds of friends. For myself personally, I have my horsey friends. I love horseback riding. And I love the women that I get to spend my time with horseback riding. And we have a great laugh together. And we spend a lot of time together. We help one another out. And our rides are always very enjoyable. I have many memories over the years of people that I've gotten to go horseback riding with. And I've done some crazy things in this area. And I'm really, truly grateful. And I consider these people friends. I also know that some friends might be for a season in a person's life. I know in a previous video, when I was talking about aging and being invisible, I talked about a friendship that was just for a short season in my life. But that friendship was rich and meaningful, and we really got to know each other, and it was a beautiful time in my life. I have friends in different age groups. I like spending time with younger women. I spend some time with women my age, and I have friends that are older than me. And for myself personally, it gives me perspective. I get to appreciate these young women and where they're at in their life. And then those who are in my age group are in a very, well, some of us are in a different experience, because my husband and I have a 19-year-old and I'm 61. I might have to save that story for another video, because that is an incredible story. And then I have friends who are older than me. And I just love the balance that brings into my life, is having this broad perspective. Now I'd like to talk about what a real friend looks like from my perspective. You can tell me in the comment section what you think a good friend is, because I'm sure there might be something that I miss. So I'd be really, really happy to hear what your idea of a good friend is. I think friends, I saw this saying the other day, and it says friends are the family that you choose. And I thought that was beautiful. Your friends, the people that will enrich your life, bring fulfillment to your life, bring a special gift into your life that you don't get from any other place but through your friendships. I consider friends to be that safe place where a person can fall. A true friend allows us to be human, like we can be real with them. We don't wear a mask around these true friends. In Proverbs 17:17 says that a friend loves at all times. They get to know you, and they don't use what they know about you as a weapon against you, because they wouldn't do that, because they're your friend. A friend is someone that we can be vulnerable around. We allow ourselves to be seen. Someone who listens. A good friend listens. A good friend isn't trying to fix you. A good friend is empathetic. When someone comes to you, you want to listen to what they're trying to say. Sometimes we don't know how to say what is really on our heart, but we listen and we care about what our friend is going through. A friend spends time with you. A friend always has time. This is a big one. When I lived in Canada, this was particularly tricky. And the reason why this was tricky is Canada's, as everybody knows, is a very big country. And usually when you have to drive for quite a distance to get anywhere, really. Even the grocery store was a good jaunt. Also, part of Canada where I lived in, you also had months of really, really bad weather, and the days were short. You know, by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's dark, and the days were short. And you know what? With the busyness of life and the long commutes that everybody had daily, friendships were something that you had to be really super intentional about, and you really had to carve out time. And not only were you carving out time to spend together, but you had to carve out time for the drive to and back from your time together. And I think that those kinds of geographic and climate things can put a strain on relationships and make it more difficult and maybe make people feel more lonely. I now live in a country that is quite small, as I've said before, and almost everything is in walking distance. And relationships, I think, are much easier to maintain. And that's the importance of a good relationship, is maintaining it and being available and spending time together. And I think good friendships require quality time. And over time in relationships, it's possible that you might hurt each other. Like you might say things, you get really familiar with each other like you do in marriages and families and stuff. And it's a possibility that something might happen along the way. And you're faced with a decision. Do you just write this person off? Or do you work it out and you ask for forgiveness for what you've done? Or they might ask you for forgiveness. I have been in a situation where I've had to ask for forgiveness and I have been asked for forgiveness. And these people who allow me to come to them and forgive me, and the ones who've come to me, I have the utmost respect for. And these are probably the people I really, really trust, because the relation, they had a choice. They could have written me off and the relationship be over. And that's what you could do. You could write the person off, decide it's not worth it, and walk away from the relationship, pretty much make the friendship disposable. But a good, meaningful relationship won't do that. A true friend you will work through your stuff together. It might not be easy, but it is so worth it, because the bond that you will have in the end, you went through something tough together, something that happened between you, and you were able to work it out. And I really believe that with humility and a desire to work on that friendship will create an even deeper bond. I think another way that we know that we are developing a really rich, good relationship with someone is they help us to like ourselves. Now, I don't mean that they're constantly patting you on the back and constantly flattering you and, you're like the best, the bee's knees or whatever. It's because that person makes you feel seen and heard and validated and important, and someone who is worth their time and their effort. You just feel better about yourself, because after all, like I said before, we were created and designed to be in relationships with other human beings. So when that takes place, a wholeness happens inside of us. We are doing what we were created to do, and that's be in loving relationships. And that's what I think friendships flourish, because friendships are a beautiful place where we get to learn how to receive love and how to give love. So anyway, thank you for sticking this out. I would be really happy if you would leave a comment about your friendships, and really hope that you got something out of this, and you have a great day. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.